First things first, in my opinion, you need to figure out what you want to accomplish. When it comes to investing, how long do you have to wait? This space will go from, say, $2.5 trillion now to, say, $10 to $15 trillion at the conclusion of this cycle, depending on the size of the cycle, to, say, $100 trillion. By 2032, assuming my broad macro thesis is correct, we are thus still confronted with the greatest wealth-generating macro trend that has ever existed. The returns were quite high in the beginning, but they remain extremely high now. Thus, we would prefer not to mess things up, I see. What we aim to do is record that. Everyone, hold on a second. Although there are innumerable crypto market newsletters to pick from, we can all agree that the market is always moving. The transparency and ease of use of Bitcoin Zella make it stand out. Our experience is designed to be accessible to all. No matter how much or how little experience you have with cryptocurrency, guess who is keeping tabs on us? Robert Kiyosaki, author of the popular book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. On top of that, it's free, and we'd like to use this time to thank everyone who has put their faith in us. You may get all the fresh information for free if you subscribe now. Keep one step ahead of the curve rather than merely following it. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, subscribe to Bitcoin Zella now. In the video that was shown today, returning with an update on capturing gains, Raoul couldn't be more opportune. Despite appearances, locking in gains during a bull market isn't always easy. How can you then verify that you are taking the correct approach? Without further ado, let's watch the video. According to my Everything Code thesis, which states that every 4 years there is a debt refinancing cycle due to everyone setting their interest rates to zero in 2008, crypto is known to be highly cyclical. Then, paid down the whole national debt in around 4, maybe 5 years. The result is this never-ending loop that mirrors the US presidential cycle and the Bitcoin halving cycle. These cycles are so confronting us. Additionally, crypto has been the world's top-performing asset for the first 2 years in a row, followed by crypto in the 3rd year and macro for the first 2 years in a row. The 4th year is the most difficult. People get scars from the worst. And the question of how to handle it is a popular one. Here's the way I think the majority of people should go. Because the shape of the cycle peak is unknown, I may take matters into my own hands this time around. The exact time is still a mystery to us. We are aware that a completion this year would be incredibly premature. There is typically a ferocious surge towards the year's end in the second half, following the US election. Use that in relation to time, not money, because that is my recommendation. While removing about 1/3 of the available funds for lifestyle chips, now you can save up enough money to buy a car, a house, or whatever else you want, right? To protect your lifestyle and the things that are important to you, withdraw some funds from crypto land and deposit them into fiat world where you currently reside. Well, you've certainly alleviated a lot of stress now. You've accomplished it in terms of time rather than money, so I'm going to cut you 1/3 of the year's worth of pay. The price is irrelevant to me because I expect it to rise significantly. Now that I've de-risked my life, I'm going to remove it and be more sensible in my train run in 2025. In 2025, you can use the remaining 2/3 of your funds to do whatever you want with them. You can even take a vacation around the summer if you want to. Possibly you don't. If you've de-wished your lifestyle, you might as well just run the rest. I prefer that method. However, if we do manage to get a gigantic pump the 17 then, I would likely cut costs by an additional 1/3. It makes no difference if it learns to be stunted when that happens. You've cut costs by 1/3, safeguarded your standard of living, and are now in a position to purchase some cash. If you hold on to that money, you may purchase the dip or use it for your lifestyle chips. I just mentioned that, but either way, you'll be prepared in case it stops early. Even though you've removed your financial stake, you're still considered a player, aren't you? That participation is the prevailing secular trend. I value that above all else. You can put some of the extra money you take off into the lifestyle chips bank if things truly get out of hand. A job awaits you after that, for the simple reason that I believe less than ideal decisions are more likely to result from a lack of exposure to the secular market. During the Wall Street trading session the day before, Data TradingView caught the return of the volatile Bitcoin price conditions. This resulted in a surge to $67,250, but the upward impetus quickly faded as sellers regained control, causing Bitcoin to drop to $64,050 a few hours later. Since May 15th and reacting, this duo has hit rock bottom. There was very little good news to be shared by market observers. Here we can observe That Coinbase spot was the frontrunner in the bounce with a little help from Bitfinex. In his market coverage on X, popular trader Skew said that Spotbind is still seeing sell pressure. My estimate is $66,000. $67,000 is a critical area to watch for signs of price leakage or continuing absorption, but Stu reasoned that the kind of sudden dramatic dips that have been happening recently were normal. In addition, he mentioned that the present funding rates across exchanges are relatively low, which is good news for his spot premiums. Meanwhile, following the most recent lows, data from the monitoring resource Coinglass revealed varying liquidity situations on BTC pairs. A little uptick in funding rates indicates a bullish trend. On the same day, the platform informed its former users about the decline. Perceiving the possibility of further price declines, prominent trader Credible Crypto mapped out what he termed a dream zone for buying Bitcoin starting at approximately $63,500. On the other hand, there was no guarantee that this would ever be for sale. It is still theoretically possible to descend into the dream long zone below, yes. But like I mentioned before, it wouldn't shock me if the zone front ran, and X comments warned followers to look out for an impulse move in the short term. Checkmate head-on-chain analyst at Glassnode and other experts have recently begun to keep an eye on that region since it coincides with a crucial bull market support trend line. Historically, the short-term holder realized price has supported the Bitcoin price from the beginning of 2023, and it is presently at $63,700. Price preservation at that level dictated sentiment for Checkmate. Unrealized losses like this make it impossible for me to be very scared of how Bitcoin prices move. It may eventually degrade, but that hasn't happened just yet. He accompanied the text with an illustrative diagram, so there you have it. You might not use the third, but you could use half. It is irrelevant. My point is that you shouldn't worry about being perfect. The amount to which lifestyle chips reduce your life's danger. It's difficult to conceptualize in terms of time zones. This pattern is too crucial to mess up, in my opinion. I can only offer that as my best piece of advice. This time around, I want to accomplish some lifestyle-related goals, therefore I think the third-off plan will work best for me. Buying the dip was all it took last time, and I was quite content to do nothing. This tendency is here to stay, so I will definitely purchase the dip in 2026. 2.5 trillion, 10 to 15 trillion, and 15 is the pump. Keep that in mind. Up to 100 trillion, the 10 trillion ought to be fine. We are engaging in that particular game. Make the most of the cyclical nature of things. You need to be aware that there are seasons that work in your favor. This is a time of transition for us. This is Sunday, May 12th, and I am speaking to you while I record this. Just around the corner, we'll be entering crypto summer. June and July are often the months when that occurs in the seasonal cycle. Then it completely loses control. The inevitable consequence is that there will be course corrections. It's possible for it to get up to 40%, but from here it typically goes into the banana zone. Hello there. According to reports, Donald Trump's campaign has released an official token on Solana. As a result, Tor, UMP and other Trump-related memecoins had a 30% decline. The president is reportedly releasing an official token called Trump Coin with the ticker symbol DJT. In a post made to its 63,800 followers on June 17th, Pirate Wires made an allegation. The 18-year-old son of Trump, Barron, was allegedly leading the token initiative. According to Pirate Wires, blockchain data organizations like Bubble Maps appear certain that DJT isn't truly associated with the presidential candidate, but Donald Trump's team hasn't